I think that that's interesting that you bring that up. I was actually reading a book about that, and that notion of invisibility, I wonder if that's a narrative that's imposed upon people, that imposed upon women, where women don't feel it. So I always want to say, like, invisible to whom? So if you think of yourself as an object in any kind of a culture or situation, then it's going to be important for you to be visible to that person if you're being objectified. But if you're a subject, then you're never going to be invisible because you're going to be acting on the world. And I think that that's what's interesting about Gloria, is that everything she's doing is acting in the world. She's not, we're going along with her. We're observing her, but we're almost observing her as if we are her. So I think that's really important, and I think it's important to dispel with that narrative, because I don't think that belongs to women. You know what the phrase that I would really like to get rid of is this horrible phrase of a certain age. And I don't know where that came from. And I actually said to somebody recently, I'm like, when you say that, it's as if you're saying that a certain age is so horrible that you don't want to mention it. Whereas I think that that's just not true. I think that you are, Gloria is a character in her 50s. Like, say this is a woman in her 50s. We all know, especially now, I think when everything is documented, everybody knows how old everybody is and whatever, and it doesn't really matter. So this idea that there's a time that where you can no longer mention age, I think is archaic. So I'd like to get rid of that.
Love is in the air.
You come here a lot?
Yes. No, not a lot. I mean, sometimes.
What's your name?
Gloria.
And I don't know if I'm being foolish.
Hello? Are you asking me out?
Ow, ow. You want more off the sides?
A little bit more than that, actually.
Yeah.
I don't know that any of us, I think Gloria is pretty extraordinary, and admirable, because I don't know that she would describe herself as being someone who's comfortable. I think that's easy to observe from the outside. I don't know how she would feel about that. But what I loved about her was how engaged she is in the rest of the world. That she'll try anything. It's like she engages wholeheartedly in her relationships. She tries new things. She is reckless sometimes, that's something that people don't really talk about, where it's like she tries so many things that sometimes she does stuff that she shouldn't do. But it's exciting to see someone, it's almost like watching, I don't know, it's funny, because that kind of recklessness is sometimes something you only see like in action movies. And to see that sort of transposed to somebody's ordinary life, some of the stuff that she does in Vegas, you're like, oh, don't do it. But you admire her because she does. I don't know. I really don't know. I always think that obviously people ask you questions about relationships and marriage and stuff all the time, because those are major factors in our lives. We have a tendency to couple up and have families and whatever. But more importantly, I always think it's interesting that in a romantic comedy, it always ends with people meeting each other and getting married or whatever, when in fact, the drama in your life has to do with what happens once you've met somebody. So meeting somebody is not necessarily the most dramatic moment of a person's life. It's like what happens afterwards. Do you stay together? Do you not stay together? It's your interaction with the world that's important. Not just this idea. It's like, I don't know. It's tough, because what we explore in entertainment is different than what the actuality is of a person's life. Well, I think the movie is about the drama of an ordinary life. I know that we all feel that way. We all feel like our particular lives are filled with drama, because we're like, well, you know, this happened at my job, and this happened with my boyfriend, and I talked to my mother, and this happened, you know, but very rarely is it explored that way on film. So I think it gives us a chance to not just empathize with this particular woman, with Gloria, but also to kind of examine our own lives and really feel invested and excited by them.
Well, when the world blows up, I hope I go down dancing.